welcome back to another ISA live stream here on the ISA Scoot Instagram. Guys, we're going to be getting Beca Ortiz, aka Beca Ortiz, in the house in just a moment's time. But guys, feel free to drop some questions straight away. I'm just going to pin that comment there. Let's add Beca in. Hopefully she's ready. I know it's 8 a.m. where she is, so here we go. Let's add Beca. Yeah, get the questions coming in, guys. Drop them in that comment section. I'll do my best to get through them all. Good morning, Beca. How are you?
Doing good. How about you? Yeah. My house is we're kind of doing some construction right now, so there's not really a good place for me to sit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I hope you're safe. I hope your family are safe as well, and you're doing well. Yeah. And it's great to have you in here. So,
yeah,
obviously, I don't know if you've caught any of the previous ISA live streams. We will just ask quite a few questions throughout, and we've got the comments coming through and whatnot too. Okay. So guys, get comments coming in. If you want specific questions asked for Beca, I will highlight them and I'll make sure that she answers them. Don't you worry about that. So I'm going to start things off. How have things been since you've been the first ever female world champion?
It's been really crazy. Since the day I won, it felt like everything changed. I gained a bunch of followers on Instagram to start. And I got invitations to Action Space and stuff, which was really awesome. Just a lot of opportunities for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. It reminds me of when Jordan Clark first won his ISA World Final. He had 5K followers on Instagram, and then now he's on I don't know how many, 500,000 or something like that. That's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so I think that's probably one of the best things, isn't it? Just the opportunities that you can get in becoming world champion. And I mean, not just world champion, but the first ever female world champion in scooter riding. I think that's just absolutely crazy in itself, isn't it? Wow.
It's kind of hard to believe. When I really think about it, I'm like, wow, this is actually really crazy. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on here. We had John Marco last week. So guys, if you want specific questions, remember to drop them in the comment section. What I was going to ask is, obviously, we're in quarantine right now, which is not the greatest situation for a lot of people. Last week we had John Marco, who doesn't have any issue in quarantine because he just happens to have a little mini Woodward in his back garden. Do you have any backyard ramps at all? What have you been riding at all during quarantine?
Yeah, I have a quarter pipe that I got from my cousin, and my dad and I just put some new wood on it a few weeks ago. So I can ride that. It's a nice.
How big is it roughly?
It's 4 feet maybe.
Okay, not bad.
So it's not too bad. And then I have my dad and my brother made me some rails, so I have a round one and a square one, which I've been riding a lot. Also, because my leg isn't completely healed yet from the surgery I had to remove all the so I still have to take it easy. So that's why I've been riding my rails, and I have a little kicker as well. So just the basics.
Awesome. And any advice you'd give to people that are stuck in quarantine right now, riders stuck in quarantine? What should they be doing? Should they be going to the skate park for one? I mean,
I don't think you should. I mean, there's regulations for a reason. We're trying to flatten the curve on this thing, so just stay home. There's plenty to do. I know, but it can get boring. But there's plenty of stuff to do. I never liked drawing, but I kind of started getting into drawing, and I think it's kind of fun now. So, yeah.
Nice. I can't say I've ever really been into drawing. Maybe I was really young, but I just never was that good at it. So I think that's why I never really got into it personally. But just had a good question. Nathaniel T says, when was the first time you ever stepped foot on a scooter?
That was in. Step foot on a scooter. Well, I always rode razor scooters when I was really little, so if that counts. But a pro scooter, I got my first one in February of 2015 at a swap meet, actually.
So about 5 years of riding.
Yeah.
Not bad. 5 years of riding, and you're now the first ever ISA world champion female competitor. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, yeah, great question there, guys. Keep the questions coming in for sure. It's an absolute honour to have a female world champion. Did you ever think this would be a thing? Like, did you ever, like, were you hoping, like, that the ISA would introduce females into the world?
For, like, I think ever since SD12, or was it SD11? Yeah, SD11 made that girls division. I know all the girls here in the U.S. started talking and were like, ISA should get on board and make a girls' world. Like, it'd be so cool. And it was always just a thing that we thought of might happen, but I never thought it would happen, like, so soon. Yeah, it was just so quick that year. Like, it was a thing in an instant. Like, it was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I think, like, I'm actually kind of ashamed that we didn't start even earlier, because I think, you know, the girls side of the sport is just awesome, and the growth we're seeing is just absolutely incredible. I think it's more impressive than what we're seeing in the men's side, because, like, don't get me wrong, the men are doing great, but the women are really blowing my mind. Like, just the level of riding now. Like, before, it used to be that, like, without any offense whatsoever, it used to be that, like, female riders were just doing, like, little kind of tricks, and the guys were doing the big tricks, you know. And now it's just not like that at all. It's like the girls are right up there doing all the hard-hitting tricks, and there's just not much of a divide nowadays.
Yeah, it's definitely progressing really quickly, and there's so many girls getting on board with the sport, which is really cool to see.
Oh, that's a good question. Curtis Evans 18 says, how did you feel when Alexandra Madison got close to you in the Worlds, and can I make you an edit for my YouTube channel, please? So obviously Alexandra Madison was second place in Worlds. I can't remember how many points separated you two, but I mean, it was definitely, was Alexandra your toughest competitor as well? Like,
yeah, I think going into it, it was like I knew her and Bianca were both really good riders. Like, I followed them for a while, and I've communicated with them, so I always had an eye out on them, like, knew they were really good as well. So I'd say they were, like, my two competitors. But, yeah, I definitely was crazy going against Alexandra in the finals, because I landed my first run, and then she stepped up her second run, so I was, like, scared that I was like, I can't fall in the second run.
Oh, that was literally, I've just got the points in front of me, there was literally 1.4 separating you two, 1.4. That's cool. Crazy. Wow. I mean, yeah. So you played it cool. You managed to win the first ever World Championships. And do you think you can do it again?
I think so. I think if I practice, I know the girls are progressing, and right now, obviously, no one can go ride and practice. But I think if I just go out there, have fun. I mean, I don't really care what the outcome is, but I think I can if I just practice and stuff. So.
I think that's a really good way of putting it. Like, I don't care what the outcome is, but I'm just going to do my best. I think that's the best way to put it, because I think when you put too much on the line, the pressure gets to you, and you end up breaking. And I think that's probably the chillest way that you can approach the situation. I mean, that's probably why you're world champion right now, in fact, because you just play it cool, and it obviously works to your advantage. So obviously, at the world final, we had equal prize money for the men's and the women's. Was that a surprise to you and the other female riders, or?
It actually was a surprise. I wasn't even. I didn't even find out that there was a prize purse for the women until the day before finals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know who it was that told me, but I was watching Men's Street, and I was in the booths with all the riders, and someone, like, told me, and they were like, they're like, are you going to win tomorrow? Like, you know, there's money or whatever. And I was like, what?
That's amazing.
I was actually super surprised about it. And yeah, I did not, I don't even know what I expected, to be honest. I didn't expect, like, for it to be a certain amount, or, like, the same as the guys. I just got surprised that we even had a prize purse, since it was so quick, everything that happened. But yeah, I think that was really great of you guys to do that.
Yeah. And obviously, a massive shout out to Action Space as well. Like, none of that would have been possible without our title sponsor. They actually they paid for the prize purse. They they put in all the money, and yeah, it was incredible. Like, obviously you know Action Space. You're at the Action Space Invitational as well. What do you think about Action Space coming on board and supporting the industry?
I think it's great. They're really trying to be out there promoting our sport, helping our riders. It's really amazing what they've done in this little period of time, and I'm super excited to see what they'll do in the future because I know there's big things planned with them and you guys. So
yeah,
collaboration.
3-year ISA World Final deal. I think that's pretty big, and we personally know how big the Action Space Invitational was, and for anyone else who's seen clips online, which I think it's pretty impossible to miss them, with the amount that went out in marketing is absolutely crazy. But yeah, having Action Space behind it, I think all the riders have confidence that Action Space can pull off the World Final. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, nice. So obviously 2019, we had a US world champion male and we had a US world champion female. We got John Marco, who was in here last week. I asked him, I was like, do you know Beca that well? And he's like, no, not really at the moment. He said he'd love to, get to hang out with you and ride with you. And he actually said he would love to make an edit with you. Is that something that you'd be interested with?
That'd be cool. Actually, I never thought of that, but that would actually be really cool, like a world champion collaboration edit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a rare opportunity to have both world champions in the same country, so, could probably make a massive edit, couldn't it?
Yeah, we should talk about that.
I don't even think I've seen many, male-female collaboration edits. That really surprises me, actually, that's not more of a thing.
Yeah,
because obviously that's it's just cross collaboration. It's going to help each other out, isn't it? And yeah, I think you got to do it. You got to make it happen. Be the best. Cool. Yeah, love it. So guys, remember, feel free to drop questions in the comment section. I will do my best to ask Beca them questions. If I don't read them out straight away, just keep spamming it, and I'm sure I'll see your comments in there, guys. Just keep on asking the questions. I've got Reese Rogers in here as well. Love the support from Reese. We've got... Reese Rogers said Action Space is the best. 7K for a game of Scoot. I mean, there you go. That definitely
was a really cool part of Action Space.
Oh, Nathaniel asked a really good question. What did you spend your money on? And did you spend it all, your prize money?
I spent, maybe 100 of it.
100?
Because I pay my own phone bill. So I think I used some of it to pay a phone bill at some time.
No way. So you only spent $100?
Yeah, but the rest I've saved. So.
Wow. Well, I'm impressed. I mean, that's obviously the answer that would be the perfect answer. It's just, you're young, you come into a big chunk of money. I wouldn't blame you if you'd gone out and spent it. But yeah, I think that's good that you saved.
I have college coming up, and I'd like to get a car soon, so. I'm kind of just saving my money, seeing what I could get eventually.
Nice. Well, if you win another world championship, I think that might add to the car and the college fund a little bit more as well. And I'm sure we can do an even bigger prize purse for our next ISA World Final, that's for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So my next question is, what can the ISA do to support female riders more?
I think one of the biggest steps you guys did was obviously making the Women's World Final. You've seen how that made the women's side of the sport grow already. I think just promoting us on your page. I know you guys post my clips often, and Alexandra and Bianca. I think that's a great way too. Just being involved and seeing our posts, interacting with the girls is just, I think, where to start.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, obviously, if you get any ideas as well of what we can do to help you guys out, by all means, just throw us a message, and we're always down to listen to the female riders and do as much as we can. One thing I said to John last week is, I have the opinion that there's no reason why this sport can't be 50% male and 50% female. There's absolutely no reason. I know it's currently a male-dominated sport. There's absolutely no doubt about that. but from the growth that we've seen from females and just like how incredible they are, I think it's the perfect sport to do that. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. There's no reason why it shouldn't be that way. We have just as much potential as the guys. Just the sport just takes practice and determination. So anyone could do it if they have that. So
yeah.
I agree with you.
And what do you think about like maybe different disciplines as well, like street or big air or something like that for the females as well as the males? Do you think that would be a good route to go?
I know there's a bunch of girls out there that are all, like kind of street oriented as well, and I totally support them. They're amazing what they do. I'm not as good at that.
Well, I mean, you got your backyard rail.
Yeah, but yeah, I totally support. I think big air would be really cool. I know the ISA like North American final last year, they did a vert competition, and I had like Chris Ferris was telling me before like this year's got canceled. He was like, "You should join in on the vert comp," and I was like, "Oh gosh." I mean, maybe I'll try. I'll start practicing. But we'll see.
Like we said, there's no reason why women can't do it as well. I think we just need to do our best to try and engage women more and get them interested in this awesome sport. And that brings me on to my next question. What brought you into the sport? What was it that made you choose scoot riding?
Honestly, it was kind of my cousins in a way. After I'd gone to the small week with my dad that one time in February of 2015, and I bought that like little scooter I saw. I had bought some ramps, and I started riding them in my front yard because I always kind of knew in the back of my head that people could do like tricks like tail whips on a scooter, but I never knew to like what extent it was. So I started practicing like tail whips off those little plastic ramps, and then it was kind of like a coincidence, but like a week later, my cousin got a scooter too, and he wanted to go to the skate park because it was his friend's birthday, and he invited me as well. And that's kind of what kicked it off, because I had never thought of going to the skate park with my scooter. I was just riding it at home, but then when my cousin invited me is when it all kind of turned.
So you were riding it at home, but you were doing little tricks on it.
Yeah, I was just jumping off the little plastic kickers and trying to do tail whips. That's basically it.
Cool. I mean, that's how I started as well. I started on little curbs and stuff with my friend, and then obviously we went down to the skate park, and that's where it just changes everything, doesn't it? And I think it's quite addictive, isn't it? I think it's quite an addictive sport. Like it is.
Once you start, like you can't stop. It's just too much
exactly. Like, that's how I always felt. Like obviously, I've been riding scooters for 20 years, and like just that awesome feeling of just like going to the skate park, cruising some lines, learning some new tricks, progressing. There's a lot of different aspects of the sport that make it awesome, in my opinion, for sure.
I know. Sometimes I go to this park and I don't even do I do hardly any tricks in my session. I just jump the ramps, and just the feeling of that is enough. It's amazing.
And like even just going to like a flow park, like ones that are more orientated for just like cruising around kind of thing, and stuff like that.
They're fun.
Yeah. XX Loser says, how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. Yeah. And in contrast, I'm 31, nearly double Becca's age. Wow, that's crazy. But it's great to see the different generations of the sport as well. I mean, like, for anyone who doesn't know, I've been in the sport since day one, and Becca's been riding for 5 years. However, I'm blown away to have you on here, and have the first ever female world champion. I'm in awe of you. I think it's
same with you, honestly. You're such a legend in the sport. You've influenced the sport in so many ways. It's crazy.
Well, what I love about that is just how the sport has developed now. Like, I can sit back and be so proud that I've contributed towards this amazing sport, and I just think the direction that we're going is just perfect. I just think it's absolutely the right direction that we're going, and I think now that we've got the female and male situation, I think that's perfect. And we just need to do what we can to just build the sport in general. And if we can build the female side of things, I think that's just perfect. It's a missed opportunity, in my opinion. A missed opportunity, for sure.
It's growing.
We got a few more questions. Keep them questions coming, by the way, guys. David Esparza 10 says, "How's your backyard setup looking, Becca?" We did have a little talk about the backyard. Oh, we got Big John Gados in here as well. Good to see you. How is your backyard? Is it just a 4-foot ramp? You got a rail as well? Go on, give us a rundown of what you got.
So I have like the 4-foot ramp here, and then it's just on like a concrete driveway area in my yard. And then about like 20 feet after the 4-foot ramp, I have my little kicker. They're all ramps my dad made me because he's in construction, which is kind of nice.
Perfect.
And then the rails as well, my brother welded. So I just got 2 of those, and I made some homemade ones myself actually. So they're like smaller, but yeah, that's all I have.
How long until you get your own little half pipe in your backyard and you ever get that?
I don't know. Probably not.
Do you live far away from a skate park, or what is your closest skate park? I guess you have like an outdoor and an indoor that you're like your locals. What are they?
Yeah, I don't have any indoors near. I think the closest one was like Scooter Zone, but I think that's closed now. So I think the closest indoors, Woodward maybe, I don't know. But really? Outdoor parks, I have Chula Vista Skate Park, I think is the closest. It's about 10-minute drive for me.
Yeah.
And then Claremont is like 25 minutes, so I just choose to go there because it's so much better.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. Someone asked, where do you live as well? Like, is it California or?
Yeah, San Diego, California, but more specifically, I live in a little ranch kind of town called Bonita. It's like South San Diego, kind of near the border.
Fair play. It's a shame. I would have been out in San Diego last month for the Nitro World Games qualifier, but COVID-19 kind of got in the way of that. But are you looking forward to getting back out and traveling again? And if so, like where are you looking forward to heading to?
I'm super eager to travel and get on a plane again. I don't really know what my top first place will be that I go, but I really do want to go back to Hawaii again because I was there in October with my cousins, and I love it there for hiking and cliff jumping and stuff. As far as
you do any surfing at all?
I'm sorry?
You do any surfing in Hawaii?
No. I've done surfing here in San Diego once. I wasn't too shabby, but I should probably tune up my skills on that. But as far as scooter-related travel goes, I'd really like to come back to England again. Just ride like adrenaline stuff. It's my favorite park for sure.
I was just gonna ask that. Like, is it your favorite park? Like, it's just an amazing facility. And on that note, actually, guys, anyone watching, Adrenaline Alley are actually doing a fundraiser at the moment to try and gain support because obviously during the COVID-19 crisis, they're really struggling. So even if you can do anything, Becca, to help spread the word to support the amazing skate park because it is just on another level, isn't it?
Yeah, this park, it's like growing our sport so much. So
yeah. And what part of Adrenaline Alley is your favorite?
I really like Scooter Room. Just like the little box to the step up is so much fun. I could ride that all day.
Same.
Yeah, and then obviously Building 2 is just so legendary. So I love the resis in there.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. And the foam pit is it's so big you can do whatever you want and do it. I don't know. I like the warehouse as well. Actually, I got to ride that when I was there in November, so I enjoyed that. I don't know. I can't choose a favorite part, but
I know for me, like it's everything, isn't it? And that's what makes Adrenaline Alley. I know personally, one of my favorites is probably the scooter room as well. Just cruising them boxes is just so much fun, and like I like to then go back round, air the quarter, and then go back onto the boxes. Yeah. Big John Gados asks, are you working on anything new for the next World Final?
Ooh, as some of you might know, I landed 5 players in November.
At Adrenaline Alley, right?
Yes, at Adrenaline. Yeah. And my plan was to practice them at Woodward this summer, so I could maybe have them better to be throwing in Worlds maybe.
That'd be
but
awesome.
now that that's not happening, we'll see. But hopefully that's can be a thing by the next World. 5 players.
Obviously, with regards to Worlds, like it has technically been postponed, and we do have to wait and see how the situation develops with COVID-19. Obviously, it's just too early at this point, like in April, to have any idea what it's going to be like in 6 months' time or whatnot. So we're holding out hope that we can run a world final at the end of this year. However, that will only happen if travel restrictions are all lifted. There's no restrictions in place, and like it's obviously safe to do so.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to get a world final in place, but obviously health and safety definitely comes first, and
for sure.
Horrendous if we just threw on a world final and it would be completely irresponsible. So we have to be.
Scootering isn't that important at the moment. So.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a bigger thing, more important thing at the moment. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely your life and health.
Yeah. Just a general question: do you have any other hobbies at all, like other than scooter riding?
I really like snowboarding. I try and go as often as I can.
Nice.
If I live closer to mountains, I would definitely be.
Where'd you go?
Big Bear Mountain is pretty close. It's like 2 hours away.
Okay.
That's like the closest. There's also Mammoth Mountain, which is 8-hour drive.
Wow.
That's usually where I go. It's super nice there. The snow is always prime. So.
Is there no flight there? Can you not get a flight there? Maybe
you can get a flight, but it's not worth the cost. You could it's easier just to drive. Yeah.
8 hours. That's like us driving, like me driving to Scotland. Right up to Scotland. That's about as far as that. What's Phil just said? The up and coming girl riders in the US to watch out for. I know the answer to that, but I'll let you answer it, Becca.
There definitely is. I mean, I'm trying to think of specifics.
I've got one in mind personally, but I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of specific people at the moment, but I know there's so many girl riders, even local ones that I've been in contact and met that are just progressing so fast. They have such a passion for the sport already. And so I know they're going to do great things in the future. And
the one that come to mind for me was I can't remember her name, but her Instagram's like Fly Girl.
Oh, Chanel Martin, yes.
Yeah.
And Claire Parks as well. They're both up and coming, really good. Yeah. There's
just so many nowadays as well, and I'd never heard of these people, and like that. I forgot her name again. Fly Girl. I just call that. The stuff she's doing, to go from not hearing from someone and then seeing them do that. We were actually having the same conversation about Colby. I forgot his last name, but the Australian rider that was doing triple overheads. He's a male rider.
Oh yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to we'd never heard of him. Me and John had never heard of him, and then suddenly he's just doing triple overheads Instagram videos. And I thought it's the same with this Fly Girl. I feel so rude saying Fly Girl. What's her name again?
Chanel Martin.
Chanel. Okay, Chanel Martin. Perfect. Yeah, Chanel Martin. And who was the other one you said to watch out for?
Claire Parks. She was at Worlds as well.
All right, awesome. And obviously you got the OG female rider, Kiara Mead. Have you met her many times?
Yeah, I've met her. I'm good friends with her. We hung out at Worlds a lot. I had met her previously to Worlds, but we hadn't really ever talked that much. But at Worlds, I got closer to her, and I have a good relationship with Kiara.
Has she ever expressed an interest in getting back into competing, or maybe
last year from you? She was like, maybe I'll come out next year and compete with you guys, which would be this year, but I don't know. Maybe she was just joking, but we'll see. I would love to see her come back out. It would be really cool to be in a competition with her. She's so legendary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, another one that comes to mind is Charlotte Worthington.
Yeah.
In the UK. And now she's doing massive things on BMX, and she's on the Olympic squad for BMX riding. It's just absolutely It just shows like talent that these riders have. And that brings me on to like Olympics. Actually, like, what do you think about scooters and the Olympics and like the idea of it becoming an Olympic sport?
I think it would be amazing to see it in the Olympics one day. I know it has the potential to. I mean, skateboarding and BMX just got on, so there's definitely no reason why we couldn't. So yeah, I could see it happening in the future. Hopefully
I think what I like to say. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Sorry.
What I like to say is, it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when with the Olympics. I think it's inevitable that we're going to end up in the Olympics. It's just a matter of when that is, and hopefully you won't be too old to take a gold medal by that time. We'll do our best to get you into the Olympics, but you're still young. We're very young. 16 years old. You got plenty of time to do it. Do you think there is like an age cap on riding at all?
I don't think so. I mean, you're living proof. I mean, not saying that you're old or anything, but like.
No, don't worry. I won't take any offense. Go on. Just use me as your example.
Like you could still do so much, and it's crazy. I don't think. I mean, at a certain point, obviously, you can't ride to like what you used to do, but you could always just hop on a scooter. Like my dad rolls around on my scooter, so
nice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's an age limit to how much fun you can have on a scooter, and yeah.
Nice. Curtis Evans just asked a really good question. He said, "Who is your first ever pro rider that you have met?" And he said that I was his first ever pro rider. That's awesome to hear, by the way, Curtis, and glad to see you in the live chat. So, and Big John Gaylor just called me old man as well. Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
First ever pro rider. I'm trying to think. I mean, I was always at Claremont, so I'm pretty sure there was like always pros in my presence, but I don't think I really knew about them. Yeah, I think
just like riding around loads of pros. Just no idea.
I think it was Jordan Robles. I'm pretty sure was the first pro rider that I had met, because he was at Claremont one time and he like commented on some like a tail whip I did or something. He's like, "Yo, like that was cool," and I think that was where it started. Him, and then I think Tanner Fox, because he was always at Claremont, and Jake Angeles. They were always there.
Yeah. Awesome. That's pretty good triple threat of pro riders to meet and the first outing. I think that's pretty cool. And obviously, it's good to see Tanner, isn't it? Like he's back on his scooter a lot more recently through the double flares and that. I think he gets a lot of hate, doesn't he? He gets a lot of hate, but he gets a lot of love too. And I don't know about you, I personally think it's great, like that he's promoting the sport in any way to that massive following. But,
I mean, he's just doing what he loves, and I know he still loves scootering, but it's not like his top priority right now. But it's good that he's still showcasing it to his masses of followers. So yeah, I agree with you.
Another really good question from Max Alto. He says, "Who is your biggest inspiration?"
My biggest inspiration, as far as like a scooter rider, I'd say Dylan Morrison.
Okay, nice.
He's like insane. So it's definitely like my favorite rider and my biggest inspiration, because it's just amazing how good he is in every aspect of riding. And I know it's probably like everyone's goal to be as good as him one day, but yeah.
I think you nailed that by saying every aspect of riding, because like he can shred the streets, he can do mega ramp, like he does Nitro World Games, and then he is consistently on the podium at the World Final. That right there is an all-round kind of rider. Yeah. No, I think that's a solid choice. What about like female riders? Do you have like a female inspiring rider?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I have like a key female rider, but I think just all of my like peers in this sport just inspire me to keep pushing the girls, because to see it grow and just see all of us girls progress together, it's just inspiring to me. So I just say all my girls.
Nice. I like that. Now this is I think this is a good question. Okay, do you think we'll ever get to a point where you'll see women doing a world first before the men?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, there's so many world's first that have already been done, but I know there's new ones being created every day. And I don't think that girl riders couldn't have the possibility of doing that before a guy. So
I think you're right. Like, new ones are being created every day, and I think last year we had such a surge in like unique ones, because obviously you get the world's first, whereas there's an extra whip or there's an extra bar spin or, you know, combos and stuff, but they're just like, you're just trying to progress a trick as much as you can, get as much out of that trick. But like some of the crazy world's first that we got last year, like I can't even remember, I don't even know the names of most of these, like wrapping the scooter around your back. Have you seen that one? And
oh yeah, Jaded Mezzo.
Yeah, and Ryan Williams is doing it in a front flip, like, and a lot of body variations. I think if the girls can capitalize on that kind of stuff, like unique world's first, I think there's absolutely no reason why a female couldn't beat the men to it. And I think you need to be the first to do it. I'm not saying that there definitely hasn't been any world's first either. There might have been a world's first done by a woman first, but I can't think of any to note. So I think on that note, you need to come in and scoop that.
I'll try. I've like always done that in my front yard. I just grabbed my scooter and started like trying to think of something cool, but I haven't come up with anything yet. But we'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah. Are there any like dream tricks that you'd like to learn?
I really want to learn cash rolls once I'm back riding. I think that's like the top of my list right now, because I can do them into like a foam pit and airbag pretty good, and I think if I just tune it up a little bit, it's definitely could be sent to Resi and be landing.
Well, I was actually, last time I messaged you was about cash rolls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
trying to give you some advice on how to get that around. I think you're really close, like, for sure. And obviously nowadays with the facilities that we have available, it'll be no time until you manage to nail that one.
Yeah.
Because without sounding too old again, but like when I did the first ever flare on a scooter, there weren't any resi ramps, there weren't any foam pits. It's just straight to metal and concrete, and it was pretty horrendous progression. I think that's why places like Adrenaline Alley, Woodward, SD, all the big iconic places are so important for the sport and the progression of the sport. And I think the more these facilities are built, and like look at Ryan Williams, our Willie Land, like the amount of world's firsts that have come out of that facility, like that facility is like single-handedly pushed an area of scooter riding to like another level, and it's all thanks to one guy. Like, one absolute legend. So, who do you think will win the men's world final?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's so hard to try and pinpoint a certain rider. It's obviously it's a day. It's how you ride on that day at that moment. So it's never really predictable. But I mean, obviously John is just crazy rider. He won obviously last year, so I know he could take it again. Chris Ferris was right behind him as well. He's also so crazy on the scooter. Same with Dylan. I don't know, honestly, but those three guys for sure.
I think them three are a pretty solid choice. But as you're well aware, on the day, anyone can take it for sure. And I know one of the things that John Marco does to help himself when he's riding is he works out a lot. And I don't know if you follow him much on Instagram, but he's lifting some serious weight, and judging by the size of Big John Gados, he's going to throw around scooters pretty well. The question I have for you is, do you do anything to work out? And what is it that you do?
Yeah, I do like just some home workouts, nothing crazy, but just to stay like fit and my body, like keep endurance. I do some running. I don't go to the gym or anything because I don't have like a gym membership, but yeah, I just do like stuff at home. And my sister worked at a workout studio before this COVID thing happened, and I would go with her sometimes to that. But just
nice.
stuff.
I think COVID-19 as well. I think a lot of people are either doing one or two things. They're either just sitting at home getting fat, or they're working out like crazy to stay from getting fat. And I hope that everyone watching right now is staying active, of course, and using this as a good opportunity to work out more and stay fit and healthy for sure. Yeah. But hopefully this whole COVID-19 situation is over soon. Like, I don't know about, like, I know in the US you guys got it quite late, didn't you, compared to a lot of the world? And now I think I heard that East Coast US is like the epicenter of COVID.
New York is definitely affected.
However, what we've seen from China, what we've seen from Italy, is that it kind of comes and goes quite quickly in a way. You know, like China are reporting no new cases now, which I think is phenomenal. I think that gives us hope that if China can do that in like 4 or 5 months, then hopefully the US can do it even faster.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. It's so crazy and it's unpredictable, honestly. But hopefully something good happens and it gets cleared up sooner than later.
I mean, the skate parks are just going to be absolutely rammed, aren't they? Like, the amount of people hitching a ride, and they're just like, skate parks are just going to get an absolute hammering as soon as this the lockdown restrictions are lifted, you know. But I think it's important that we stay social distancing as well. You know, not too many hugs.
Not at all.
Yeah, and then we can definitely stay safe. David Esparza says, is the comp that will eventually take place at Woodward, which is Nationals, for the beginner comp? Well, that was a very, very random question, that, David. But general kind of ISA question, but the ISA does focus on the pro side of things. Obviously, we are the World Championship. However, not only was females a new thing last year, junior was also a new thing last year. And junior is still male and female, technically. So if you have a junior female, I guess it's like that, right? I mean, like, it's quite ambiguous, isn't it? But with regards to that, David, like, we are concentrating on the junior and the female, and we're certainly looking to expand that more, and hopefully we'll be able to do qualification throughout all of our qualifiers in the future, if we can hopefully get more and more females and juniors riding and competing, for sure. Any more questions, guys? Feel free to just drop them in the comments section. We've got about 15 more minutes left of this live stream. As you may or may not know, Instagram does limit it to 1 hour, and I'm sure Becca's got plenty of things that she'd like to do today as well. So use this opportunity, guys. We've got Beca Ortiz here, the first ever female world champion on a scooter in the house. So ask all the questions you want. What I want to ask then is, what trick are you working on next? What is the one that you want to get? Because obviously you said you want to get 540 flares locked down and dialed. But like, what new trick? Maybe like nothing front scooter flips. You got the cash rolls. What other ones are you working on?
I mean, I could already do nothing for scooter flips, but I actually would. Now that you say that, I would like to get better at them, more consistent.
Yeah.
Maybe like dialed in for comps and stuff would be cool. I mean, like we talked about, I'd like to get cash rolls. I'm trying to think. I never really have a set trick in my mind. It's kind of funny, but I never I'm like, oh, I gotta get this next trick. It's always just comes to mind to me one day at the park, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll start trying this next. So I think right now I'd say cash rolls. My mind isn't too far ahead of that as far as another trick to try, but yeah.
I mean, I think the tricks that you just mentioned, we had 540 flares, cash rolls, nothing front scooter flips. If you think just a few years ago, the guys weren't even doing them tricks, especially not in competitions, and I think it just shows how narrow the gap is becoming between female and male riders, and it shows that females, they can catch up, they can overtake, and I want to see it happen. You know, I really want to see just the females just going absolutely crazy, pushing the sport, and just the men and the female kind of battling out like that I think that would be absolutely incredible. And what do you think? Like, do you think that's possible? Do you think that will happen?
I think it definitely could. I don't see a reason why not. I mean, I know I myself have already like competed with the guys in action space, and I was nowhere near their level of like ability, but I know it can get there one day if you just keep practicing. And yeah, I definitely for sure will.
Yeah. Larry Fife says, who's your main sponsor? And I'll give him a little shout out there as well.
That's actually, I know him. He's a really good friend. My main sponsor is the Scooter Farm, and that's my only sponsor as well. I'm supported by S1 helmets. But yeah, just the Scooter Farm shop sponsor.
So John Marco is also supported by S1 helmets as well. We went into quite an in-depth conversation about helmets and that kind of safety aspect of riding. And I don't know about you, but like I seem to be just seeing more and more pro riders just riding without helmets, and I just think it's a terrible influence for the kids who are watching. And I mean, like, it's your head, you only get one. Like, it's not like an arm.
You don't want to mess with it.
Put it in a cast and it'll fix itself back up. Like, you got to take care of your head. And like, is that something that you always do? Do you always wear a helmet when you ride? And what kind of helmet? And what kind of helmet?
For sure, it's very important to me. It's like such a risky thing to play with, and it's like not worth it to just like maybe fall one day and hit your head, and your life can never be the same again. So yeah, I always wear my helmet. I definitely think everyone should. It's so important. It's your safety,
Yeah.
You shouldn't mess with it.
No, for sure. And I mean, an S1 do like certified helmets as well.
Yeah, certified, especially.
If you can rock the certified, guys, it is way more important. Like, no point having an uncertified helmet. It's almost like you're just doing it for ticking the box, but you're not ticking the box, because if it's not protecting your head, it completely defeats the purpose of wearing a helmet. We just had a really good question. What is your best trick? What's your best trick? What do you say is your best trick?
I think like the best trick I've landed is 540 flare.
Nice.
My best like consistent trick. I don't know. It's kind of a hard question actually. I could do flare double whips really consistently. So
there we go.
I don't know. Nice. Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Nice. See, I personally prefer like flared downside hill whips. Don't know why. Like,
those are fun.
Have you done flared downside hill whips?
Yeah, I can do those as well.
But you prefer whips over downside hill whips, yeah?
Honestly, I don't have a preference. I think I do whips more often than downhills, only because it seems to be whenever I do a flare downhill, I somehow always smash my toe under the deck
Really?
at some point.
Oh, wow.
So I think like I just don't. My mind's always like, oh, we just flare whip instead of downhill, but I could do both, and I like both. So.
Yeah, whatever works for you, of course. That was asked by Blakey Scoots 13. 386 Casey says, "What's your favorite deck?"
Ooh, right now I'm riding the Ethic Vulcan deck. I was trying out something different. It has like box stands. It's a little longer than what I usually ride and wider, and I'm really liking that. I haven't gotten it to ride it at the skate park, obviously, but I might start using that as like my main setup. But previously to that, I was riding the Dylan Morrison AO deck, and I really liked that one as well. I swore by that deck. I'm sorry?
I can't even think how big the Epic deck is, to be honest, because there's so many ones, aren't there?
5 point. It's
whoa,
5 wide or 5 wide.
Wow.
And 20.9 long. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's a respectable deck right there. Appreciate that. Alex OGXLVIE, I don't know how you're going to pronounce that, but he says, what's your dream sponsor?
Dream sponsor? I mean, honestly, I don't have a dream sponsor. I really love the Scooter Farm, my sponsor right now. They do so much for me. They're so supportive. As far as a company sponsor, like manufacturer, I mean, I've gotten offers and stuff, but I just like being able to ride whatever I want. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I really have a dream sponsor, but yeah.
Yeah. Ellie Official, another female rider, has asked a question that you've already answered, actually, and that was favourite room at Adrenaline Alley. Feel free to answer it again for Ellie. Becca?
Yeah, either room 3 or room 2, probably.
Simple. You solid answer that, yeah. And obviously, injury-wise, you've had your leg injury, right? What is it exactly that you injured?
I broke my fibula and broke off the bottom, ankle part of your tibia. Snapped that off, kind of.
And it's still kind of a bit iffy now, right?
Yeah, because after I broke it, I had to get surgery to get metal plates and screws in to help it heal properly, which it did. But then I started having problems with the metal. It was giving me aches and pains. So I got it taken out in February. And now it's just still healing where the screws used to be. The holes are filling in and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, injuries are obviously part and parcel of the sport, but it does suck every time you get injured. I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've rode on injuries, probably way too much, and my body's going to regret when I'm older. But is that the worst injury that you've had?
Yeah, it is. That's the only main injury I've had scootering wise.
Okay. Yeah. Ellie says, my foot now hurts after I heard that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry for Becca right here. Her foot definitely would hurt right now, for sure. So, guys, anyone who's just tuned in, we got Beca Ortiz here. We've only got about 5 more minutes left of this live stream. So, guys, get the questions in. It's absolutely amazing to have Becca here, and do not miss this opportunity to ask Becca any questions that you like. Aidan Luckin says dream setup.
I honestly really love my setup right now. Yeah. I always every time I build a new setup, I'm always oh, this is my favorite scooter for sure so far. Yeah, I think my setup right now is my favorite one so far. I don't think I really have a dream setup. It's always just new parts come out. You're never really sure what you'll like, but yeah, I like what I'm riding.
Let's do a quick little rundown of your setups. What handlebars have you got?
I'm riding Lucky Thai kink bars. Okay, and then nice. I have a double clamp. It's my favorite clamp. I haven't ridden any other clamp since I started riding.
Wheels?
Just and stuff. And then wheels, I got. What do I have on right now? Oh, I have Oath Bermuda wheels.
Okay, nice.
I'm trying those out. I really like them. They're a little wider than normal.
Yeah.
Light, so they're cool. And then I have the Ethic Vulcan deck. Also really liking that. A bit bigger. What do I have? Ethic Marrow Fork I'm riding. I've always ridden
I've got to interrupt you. We've got Adrenaline Alley in the house as well.
Oh,
there we go. Shout out to Adrenaline Alley. I don't know if you were here a minute ago. We were literally just talking about you 2 minutes ago. But yeah, big shout out to Adrenaline Alley. So guys, we've literally got about 5 minutes left of this live stream. Last questions. Flood them in now in the comment section. I will do my best to go through them. We'll try and quick fire through some of these questions as well. Jasper Martin asks, how do you balance schoolwork and scootering?
That's a good question. It's kind of hard for some people, I know, because they go to public school and you're in school for so many hours and then you want to go ride and sometimes you can't because you have homework. For me personally, I'm homeschooled, so it's a lot easier for me to be able to go ride and progress and not have to worry about school as much. It's still a big, a main priority of mine. I do good in school and I try my best to keep it ahead of any other thing I do because it's a big important thing. But I
mean, for sure. I mean, a lot of kids they seem to think that it's just the riding, and I'll be able to make a career just from riding my scooter forever, and it just doesn't work like that. It sounds like you've got your head pretty screwed on. But I always say, concentrate on school, try and go into further or higher education, and you gotta be intelligent in life, to get anywhere in life. You've got to put the effort in, there, and I'm glad to hear that you try very hard with that. Right, we got 4 more minutes, maximum of 4 more minutes. Oh, we got AZ Grind Skate Park in the house as well. Are you friends with Cody Flom? Says Ellie Official.
Yeah, Cody and I are good friends. Hang out. He comes to Claremont sometimes, so we always ride together. Yeah.
Nice. Blakey Scoots 13 says first place you'll go after quarantine.
Skate park. Any skate park. For sure.
I've got a question as well. What advice would you give to young up-and-coming female riders?
Just keep practicing and progressing. Don't give up. When you're trying to land your tricks, I know it's hard at the beginning. You get frustrated. You see everyone else like so much better than you, but just use those people as like an inspiration, a plan, like where you want to get, and just keep practicing. Don't give up, because you can make it far.
Great words, Becca. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up about there, but I just want to say a massive thank you for tuning in, Becca. Hope you are staying safe, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting the ISA season back underway, and it'd be great to see you scoop up that gold medal once again in the next World Final. But thank you very much, Becca. If you want to do any last words for anyone watching right now.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, watching the interview. I had fun answering your questions, and it'd be cool to do this another time.
Cool. And also, guys, I noticed that Becca is very close to 10K followers on Instagram. So anyone watching right now, I want you to do us a favor. Just give Becca a shout out. You know, she is literally the first ever female world champion. She definitely deserves to have 10K followers, if not more than that. And but thank you very much, Becca. I will say goodbye now. I'll say goodbye to you first, and then I'll say goodbye to everyone else. But thank you very much for tuning in with us.
Thanks, Terry. Good talking to you.
Cool.
Bye.
Take care, and enjoy the rest of your day. And everyone else, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that with Beca Ortiz. One question I always ask is, who should we interview next, guys? If you have anyone in mind, feel free to just drop us a message on our Instagram, and we will do our best to get them on board. But again, guys, we will be live this time next week for another ISA live stream interview. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next week.